محمد وآل محمد صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله، صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة، ويا باب نجاة الأمة، يا ليتنا كنا معكم سيدي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. It has been narrated from Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam that whenever Imam Hussain was in the presence of his brother Hassan, he would never make a move before him. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, I bid you all assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi dies on the 21st of Ramadan. Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam rises to the pulpit and he informs the people that indeed on a night like this, the greatest of human beings from the past, and none who shall supersede him in the future, has indeed just died. Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam would continue and say that indeed on a night like this, a man who's left us is one who left nothing behind him except 700 dirhams for his family members. The Imam alayhi salam, just like we have the example of the wife of Rasulullah, Khadija bint Khuwaylid, he gave everything that he had until his last moments, that Khadija in her last moments didn't even have money to buy a kafan. Allah would have to send a kafan for her to shroud her blessed body. Salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayha. Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam announces that indeed he will become the representative of Allah after the Imam. Ibn Abbas sees that no one stands up to give bay'ah to the Imam alayhi salam. Therefore he tells them, "O people, stand up and give bay'ah to the man who there is none like him on this earth." Everybody stands up and indeed goes and gives bay'ah to the Imam, telling him, "You have become the Imam of every Muslim and Muslimah." Sadness begins from day one. You see, many times when we speak about Imam Hussain alayhi salam, we speak of his life as being the life which was oppressed from the 12 of Al-Muhammad. Yet indeed, if there was a human being who now is oppressed, but his oppression is oppressed, give me your attention on this vital point. Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, not only is he mazloom, his mazloomiyah is mazlooma as well. Imam Hussain is mazloom, but his oppression isn't oppressed. We speak about it. Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam has a double layered oppression. He is oppressed and his oppression is also oppressed, in the sense that we don't speak much about the oppressions that Aba Muhammad al-Zaki, al-Hasan ibn Ali went through. Unbelievable oppression. That if Imam al-Hasan is given 10 nights, I promise you if Imam Hussain is given 10 nights, Imam Hassan should be given about 15. When you come in and look at the oppression that Imam al-Hasan has been through, you indeed realize that he is oppressed just as his brother Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. That you'll notice it began from day one. Why? Because Muawiyah had a heart attack when he heard that Muhammad al-Zaki, Imam al-Hasan is going to become Imam. Why? Because Imam al-Hasan was loved by everyone. People knew the traditions of Rasulullah about him. People knew that one day he would say, "Bring to me the most beloved of men to me, Hussein and Hassan," and indeed they would be brought to the Prophet of Islam. People knew that he would say, "Al-Hasan wal-Hussein Sayyidai Shababi Ahl al-Jannah." They knew all of this information. They knew that Rasulullah would say, "Al-Hasan wal-Hussein imaman in qama wa in qa'ida." Hassan and Hussein are imams, whether they rise or they sit. In other words, they knew all of this information. Hence it made it very difficult for Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan to rise against Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. Not only that, but he was the grandson of Rasulullah, people were with him, and he had nothing against him. What do I mean? Imam al-Mu'mineen, Muawiyah used what against him? The death of Uthman. He was claiming that the hands of Ali ibn Abi Talib are soaking with the blood of Uthman. He had nothing to use against Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. He was pure. His history, just Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen's history was pure, but there was nothing he was able to fabricate against him. Therefore, what did he have to do? He sent 2 spies from the day one to Basra, one to Kufa. From Kufa he sent the one from Banu Hamir, and from to Kufa he sent Banu Qayn. 2 spies. They're captured and they're executed and killed by the commands of Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. Both of them are killed. Imam al-Hasan gets the message. What does he do? He makes the first move. He sends a letter to Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. He gets the message. He sees that indeed Muawiyah is getting ready to overthrow the regime. What does he do? He sends him a letter. He tells him, "Oh Muawiyah, I see what you have done. We've stopped you in your tracks, and indeed I advise you that you follow the word of Allah Azza wa Jal, and that you become truthful and sincere in your motives." Muawiyah sends him, and what else? He made it clear from the first move, Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, that he doesn't mind fighting. Anybody that comes and says Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam was a pacifist, Imam al-Hasan wal-ayadu billah was of weak nature, unlike his brother Imam al-Hussain, has a complete misunderstanding of why Imam al-Hasan did what he did. And later on in the research, inshaAllah, we'll realize that it was because of the path that Imam al-Hasan paved, Karbala was a reality, and Karbala was able to take place. Ulama have written books reflecting that Imam Hussein's move was but a reflection of the path that Aba Muhammad al-Zaki, Imam al-Hasan, paved for him. He would send him this letter, he would respond to him, he would tell him, "I see that you," they wrote 8 letters, back and forth exchange. Until the last letter, Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam he sticks to his guns, in which he would tell him, "I don't mind fighting, and I know you are an enemy of Allah, I'm not fooled by your tricks. You may fool others, but indeed I am not fooled, I am ready to fight you." Both men realize that war is the only option between them. What does Muawiyah do? Muawiyah goes to his people, he sends letters to all of his governors. He tells them it's time that we wage war against Imam al-Hasan. Because keep in mind, Muawiyah still couldn't sleep because of Siffin. He realized, and we mentioned Siffin yesterday, he was still hurt from what happened in Siffin. Siffin did what? Siffin exposed Muawiyah, you agree? Muawiyah in Siffin was exposed because they had to place, as Amr ibn al-As, enemy of Allah, placed Quran on spears. Yes? They would come to Imam, they would say, "We're not going to fight them, they're holding the Quran." He would say, "That's silent Quran. Don't you think I'm the speakable Quran?" Allahu Akbar. Imam would say, "If that's the silent Quran, then here before you is Quran natiq. Listen to what I have to tell you, yes or no?" In other words, both of them were ready to fight. Muawiyah sends to his governors telling them it's time to fight, and Imam al-Hasan gathers his followers for congregation, for salah. He stands before them, and he tells them, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wa salatu wa-salam. He gives praise to Allah and salutations upon His Prophet, until he tells them it's time that we wage war. Do you know what they did? Their tongues would go numb and their hearts would be filled with fear. The problem wasn't with Imam al-Hasan. It's the problem that he had with his companions. And wasn't this the problem with Imam Sadiq? Imam Sadiq said, "If I had 40, I'll rise." Imam al-Hasan was in the same predicament. He would say, I tell you, it is time that we wage war against Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, against the people of Syria. Get ready, sharpen your swords, get your horses ready. The tongues would go numb, the hearts would be filled with fear. Until who stood up? That great companion of the Imam by the name of Adi ibn Hatim. Adi had such love in his heart for the Imam, and indeed he was one who showed his loyalty for Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. What would he do? He would stand up and he would tell them, "Where are the ones who were so eloquent in ease? Why have you become silent in difficulty?" Allahu Akbar. He says, "You are the ones who would rise in confidence. You are the ones who were there when nothing was happening, getting ready to sharpen your swords and fight the enemies. Why is it that now your speech in ease has become silence in difficulty?" People who would say, "Wallah, you make sense. Yeah, this is difficult. It's a difficult war against Muawiyah." Because keep in mind, they were still tired from Nahrawan. They were tired from Siffin. They were sick of war. They were bored from war. As we'll come and we'll see the reason as to why he didn't fight. We'll come later on. In other words, people would be prepared what? To stay quiet and not fight the Imam, not fight Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. That's why Imam alayhi salam realized that some of them were quiet. Yeah, he told them very clearly, "If you don't come with me, you won't dissuade me from fighting." What did the Imam alayhi salam do? He instantly took with him, some say 12,000. Tabari says 40,000. Imam had an army. An army which was worthy of defeating Muhammad ibn Abi Sufyan. Yet they were high in quantity, very low in quality. When you read the books, it says that he would take with him 12 or 40,000, huge army, but a weak army. He would take them with him. Where would he go? He would go to places like Nakhila. He would pass by Nakhila. He would go to Maskan, Madian. While the Imam alayhi salam is heading towards Maskan, he realizes that he needs to send an army in advance so that they can see what's happening. Return to the Imam alayhi salam and tell him of what Mu'adh ibn Sufyan is up to. Who does he send? He sends a caravan to Maskan on the authority of Ubaydullah ibn al-Abbas. Who is that? His cousin. He said 100%. If I'm going to place Ubaydullah ibn al-Abbas as the vanguard and as the leader of this army, then no doubt he would lead them correctly. Firstly, he's my cousin, comes from the family of Bani Hashim, that's the first reason. Second reason, 2 of his sons were killed by Muawiyah. If you had your sons killed by somebody, then indeed you would be more sincere in trying to get rid of him. Muawiyah killed 2 of the sons of Ubaydullah ibn Abbas. Therefore he took him. Muawiyah began his trickery and he began deceiving the caravan. What did he do? First thing he did is that he would send letters to Ubaydullah ibn al-Abbas. And this is one of the saddest transitions that history tends to give us. Hur was a great transition. You can say the opposite of Hur was Ubaydullah ibn al-Abbas, cousin of Rasulullah, cousin of Imam Hussain, 2 of his sons killed by Muawiyah. He would tell him, he would send him a letter. What would he tell him in the letter? He would say, "Oh Ubaydullah, Imam al-Hasan has guaranteed that he will do a treaty with us. He will do a peace policy with us. Therefore, let me propose to you the following proposition." What is it? Besides you coming to our army based on the sulh, when you're in weakness and you're a follower, come to us while you're a leader. Come to us while you're in dignity. Come to us while what? While you have a following. Of course, Muawiyah was a genius. Why was he a genius? Because he realized, if I get Ubaydullah later on, then I might not get all of the followers with Ubaydullah. If I get Ubaydullah right now while he's a leader of the army, people begin to think, if Ubaydullah went, and do you know how many thousands went with Ubaydullah once he went to the side of Muawiyah? Imam lost nearly 4,000 just because of the loss of Ubaydullah. One of the companions would stand up and he would take lead. Yes? Ubaydullah would go, one of the companions would stand up and he would take lead and he would what? Qais, companion by the name of Qais, of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, he would stand up and he would restore the confidence of the masses. People lost complete confidence, their leader has been gone, their morale is now diminished greatly. Therefore he's gone. The letter is received by Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. He reads it and he's filled with sadness. Yet Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan continues his trickery and he continues his ways. Yes? You know what he would do? He would continue to work on the army of Imam al-Hasan. He already bribed one of their greatest leaders, yet Imam would what? Or Muawiyah would continue. The first thing Muawiyah would do is that he put on the side 100,000 dirhams just in spending, in deceiving. 100,000. Furthermore, what would he do? He would guarantee that I'll give you of my daughters. Muawiyah told them, of course, I don't know how many daughters he had. Did he have a factory of daughters that he guaranteed every companion of the Imam alayhi salam, one of them. He guaranteed them, I'll give you one of my daughters. Furthermore, he guaranteed them high levels and high positions in office. Many were deceived by it, yes? Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam faced such oppression. Allahu Akbar. You know what were some of the things that Muawiyah told them? I'll give you all of this stuff under 2 conditions. I need 2 things from you. One of them, assassinate or kill Imam al-Hasan, whether in private or in public. Yes? You with me? This is the first thing he told them. Assassinate him, whether in private or in public. Number 2, when I tell you to kill him or to bring him to me, you have to do the following. Under those 2 pretexts, I'll give you my daughter, I'll give you 100,000 dirhams, worthy of wealth, and I'll give you furthermore high levels in position. Allahu Akbar, the oppression that the Imam had to face. You know how they say there's no day like your day, O Abdullah? Come and look at the years and the treaty and the oppression that it brought about to Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. You know what would happen? They would plunder, indeed, what? The properties of Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. Imam al-Hasan would one day be praying. Companions of Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan would come and announce, "O people! Imam al-Hassan has promised that he's going to do a sulh with Muawiyah. People are shocked. Is that true? To the extent, imagine, after the treaty, grand companions would come to Imam al-Hassan and tell him, Assalamu alayka ya wa Naibna Rasulullah, Assalamu alayka ya mudhill al-mu'mineen. Allahu Akbar. He would say, oh, peace be upon you, oh, the humiliator, and oh, the deceiver, and the one who ran away from his duties as the Imam, Mudhil, or the one who humiliated the mu'mineen. Ibn Rasulullah spoke to him in such a way. Ignorance, in other words, they would plunder his properties. He would be praying, they come and they pull the sajjad or the prayer mat from beneath the feet of the Imam alayhi salam. Furthermore, they would accuse him of disbelief. Brothers and sisters, this isn't something easy. We listen to it, mashallah, big deal. Quran, the problem is where? The manifestation of Iman is accused of disbelief. Ya akhi, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, when he would be sent to the battlefield, Rasulullah would say, ظَهَرَ الْإِيمَانِ كُلُّهُ لِلْكُفْرِ كُلِّهِ. He would say, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, when he goes to the battlefield, he says, Iman has went to fight kufr. Not Ali went to fight, for example, Amr, or to fight Amr bin Wud, so on and so forth. Mahad. No, Iman. This was pinnacle. They would accuse him of unbelief on the second level. And number three, and the one that hurts the most, people such as Jarrah ibn Sinan. You know Jarrah ibn Sinan, what he would do? While the Imam alayhi salam would be praying, Jarrah would come and they would stab the Imam in his blessed thighs. You know that? Imam would be stabbed. Imam would be treated in such a way that not even a normal human being would be treated. They would stab the Imam in his blessed feet. They would throw in his thighs. They would throw arrows at the Imam alayhi salam. Until one day the Imam realized that what's happening here? The ones who are supposed to be helping me are the ones turning against me. He stood up in an attempt to strengthen their Iman and to strengthen their position on the religion. The exact opposite happened. He would stand up and he would say, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. O people, it's made apparent that what we like in disunity is not better for us than what we don't like in unity. In other words, he's telling them, there's a possibility that we're going to have to unite. There's a possibility that we're going to have to do what? We're going to have to establish a treaty with Muawiyah. Companions rise, they say, what did you say? They begin to speak with one another. Look at you want to speak about idiocy? They would speak to one another. What does that mean? What did he just say? Is he trying to say that we're going to make a sulh with Muawiyah? A'udhu billah. Oh Hassan, you have become a kafir just like your father Ali ibn Abi Talib. You know, some people in Sham, Imam Muawiyah played havoc with their minds. To what extent? You know that when Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen died, people would ask, that Ali who died, did he used to pray? Did you pray Fajr, Wudu, Asr? Ya akhi, his head was struck so that your salah could stay alive. And they come and they ask, did Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen pray? They would accuse him of what? Of disbelief. All of this that the Imam alayhi salam had to go through. Therefore, for you to ask the question, why didn't he fight against him? No, now why didn't he fight? If the Imam was to fight against Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, I promise you the religion we have today wouldn't be the Islam that we know. Muawiyah would have played havoc. Muawiyah would have done unbelievable injustice to the religion. For this reason, Imam didn't go against him. Yet there are a number of features we need to realize to clarify the point further. Features of Imam al-Hassan's army versus Muawiyah's army. Somebody may say he had 12,000. He had 40,000. Why did he go against Muawiyah? Abi Sufyan. In other words, 12,000, is it? Imam had 72, he went against him. 12,000, some say 40,000. Why did he go against him? No, there are a number of features which the army of Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam was a victim of. For example, I mentioned previously, they were already bored from war. Why? Because indeed they realized that Safin and Nahrawan has made them tired. The psyche of the Iraqi individual has become tired from the battles of Nahrawan and Safin. They were sick of war. That's the first thing, they were sick of war. Muawiyah would send people to propose to them the possibility of making a peace treaty. People would come, they would tell them, oh people, Muawiyah suggests that we should make a peace treaty. What do you think? They would say, well, that makes sense. We're already tired of war. Safin and Nahrawan has made us tired. Therefore, this treaty tends to make sense. Make a treaty. They would say, no, we can't fight. The treaty makes perfect sense. And the way the people would speak to them would be in a way in which they would tell them, Allah doesn't want this to happen. Muawiyah, if you read the letters which Muawiyah used to write, you would think he was an imam. constantly praising Rasulullah, constantly what? Constantly mentioning the name of Allah. That on that second level, the peace treaty was proposed by Muawiyah and it appealed to the followers of Imam al-Hasan. What else? Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam's army, they despaired from the booty war. Okay? Because Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen had a principle. What was the principle of the Imam? Imam said, in the battles, booty doesn't go to us. When the enemy dies, we don't take his ring. We don't take his clothes. This was a principle that the Imam alayhi salam, the humanity and the justice of the Imam alayhi salam. We don't take the booty of the war. Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam applied the same principle. Therefore, the men of Imam al-Hasan said, seriously? We can't take the material, we can't take the money, even if we win. Therefore, this completely took a hit to their morale. Therefore, the Imam alayhi salam's army faced much of these diseases. Imam or Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan's army, why were they so interesting? I don't say they were strong, because their feature wasn't strength. Their feature, what was it? Muawiyah's army was an interesting one. Why? Because firstly, Muawiyah's army had such obedience to Muawiyah, unlike the obedience of Imam al-Hasan's army to his. Give me your attention on this vital point. When you look at the obedience they had, it is said that when one of the men, of the scholars, he would go into Sham, one man would come to him, he would tell him, we bear witness that after Rasulullah, it's Bani Umayyah who's supposed to be followed. Muawiyah was so smart in planting his love in the hearts of the people, that people truly believed that after Rasulullah, it's Bani Umayyah, not Bani Hashim. That firstly, the obedience of who? The army of Muawiyah to Muawiyah. Secondly, and most interestingly, was what? The simplicity and the naivety of the army of who? Of Muawiyah. It is said one day a man, he had a camel, and he would leave after Siffin, to which a man from Damascus would come and tell him, that's my horse right there, or in other words, that's my camel. He would say, I promise you it's my camel. He was able to gather 50 people from Damascus to support him in that this is his camel. It was what? It was a he camel, it was a male. He said, there's no other solution unless that we go to Muawiyah. Allahu Akbar. They go to Muawiyah. Muawiyah tells them, what's the issue here? Man of Kufa tells him, this is my camel. Man of Damascus says, no, I grabbed it and indeed this is my camel. This he camel is mine. Muawiyah would say, 50 people with him, you have no one with you, we must give him the camel. He leaves. Man of Kufa tells him, oh Muawiyah, by the way, that was a she camel, it wasn't he camel. He told him, go and tell Ali ibn Abi Talib that I'm coming to you with an army who can't tell the difference between a he camel and a she camel. Simplicity and naivety, you agree? People who were able to tell the difference between a male or a female, this is the ingredients of the army of Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, for this reason, he would say, I would trade one of my companions for 10 of who? Muawiyah's. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen would say, I would trade one of my companions for 10 of Muawiyah's. Oh Imam, why would you make such a word? Because the loyalty of the followers of Muawiyah was second to none. In other words, Imam was put in no other place than to make a treaty. Yet keep in mind, there are nearly 10 or more conditions that the Imam alayhi salam placed, none of which Muawiyah followed. He would tell him, you aren't called Amir al-Mu'mineen anymore. You give from the money, you split 1 million dirhams to those children who had their fathers killed with Ali ibn Abi Talib. Furthermore, you, O Muawiyah, no longer curse Ali ibn Abi Talib. Furthermore, he would tell him, you don't do injustice to the followers of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Furthermore, you do not make judgments based on past grudges. Furthermore, he would tell him, once you finish, and this is the key one, once you finish your Khilafah goes back to me, Hassan ibn Ali. This was all part of the treaty. Muawiyah signed it and he agreed and he sealed it. Key point, Khilafah after you goes to me. All of them, Imam Hassan alayhi salam realized that none of them were followed by Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. And for this reason, many people tend to come and ask the question, because keep in mind, it is Muharram, it's not the death of Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. What was the role of Imam al-Hussain in this sulh? You have the likes of Dr. Taha Hussain. historians who come and say that Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, this caused a tension between him and Imam al-Hussein. This treaty led one to hate the other to the extent that Imam al-Hussein would tell him, it is now the responsibility of me that I handcuff you and I place you under house arrest until Muawiyah, until the treaty finishes. I will never speak to you because of what you have done. I disagree, oh Hassan, with what you have done. This is against Ali ibn Abi Talib, this is against Rasulullah. He comes and he, of course, bases all of his views on fabricated narrations which come and show the hatred of Imam al-Hasan towards Imam al-Hussein. How do we refute such a view? We refute it simply by the respect that Imam al-Hussein had for Imam al-Hasan. You know the respect he had for Imam al-Hussein? Imam Baqir alayhi salam comes and says, when Imam al-Hasan was in a room, Imam al-Hussein wouldn't stand up before he stands up. A man who wouldn't stand up without Imam al-Hasan standing up is going to have the audacity to go against his brother, and indeed to have hatred towards his view. Furthermore, the books come and tell us that Imam al-Hasan would never do something unless he asks Imam al-Hussein. What else? And Imam al-Hussein would never do something that Imam al-Hasan disagreed with. Hassan and Hussein, you can see them as two souls in one body. They were what? They were both lights of Rasulullah. They were what? They were the eyes. Isn't it the famous lines? They would come to Muhammad ibn Hanafiya, because in the Battle of Siffin, as we mentioned yesterday, some used to say to Muhammad ibn Hanafiya, some say that Imam Hassan and Hussein were restricted from the Battle of Siffin. Of course, you have two views. One says that they didn't fight. Why? Because Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen himself is narrated to have said, restrict them from fighting, lest the nasil, in other words, the lineage of Rasulullah would be cut. This is one view. Other view says, no, he fought, and the biggest proof yesterday, as we mentioned, they would go and fetch the water. If Imam was scared about their lives, why would he send them to get some water? Yeah, those who say he didn't fight would come to Imam al-Hasan, or in other words, they would come to Muhammad ibn Hanafiya. They would tell him, oh Muhammad, why is it that Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen lets Hassan and Hussein stay away from battle, yet he lets you fight? Trying to insinuate that he doesn't have the same respect for you like he does for Hassan and Hussein. Do you know what Muhammad al-Hanafi would reply? Allahu Akbar. He would reply by saying, look how Hassan and Hussein are both of one source. They are the eyes, yes? He would reply by saying, it's because they are the eyes and I am the hands. It is with these hands that Ali ibn Abi Talib wants to protect the eyes. Quite a line if you ask me. Yes? He would say, they are the hands to which protect the eyes. Abu Fadl al-Abbas would make the similar lines. Yesterday we didn't mention, Abu Fadl was present in the Battle of Siffin. It is said that Muawiyah would turn to who? He would turn to Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen. He would tell him, it's time to fight. Who's your first one to send? It is said that he would send Abu Fadl, the first one. Yeah, he told him, oh Abbas, put this mask on your face. Abbas, 12, 13 years old, he would go to the battlefield. He would be wearing a mask, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. He would be fighting. Ibn Shazah arises. They see that somebody comes with a mask. They say, could this be Ali ibn Abi Talib? It must be Ali ibn Abi Talib. There's no one else who is going to come out first. Amir al-Mu'mineen wants to display the authority. It must be Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen. Abu Fadl goes with a mask. He fights. Ibn Shazah arises. He says, I have 7 sons. Who's willing to fight them? Ibn Shazah comes. Abbas goes. He finishes the first one. He finishes the second one, the third, the fourth, the 6th, the 7th. Abu Fadl annihilates all 7 of them. Ibn Shazah is furious, and you can imagine why. 7 of his sons annihilated by one human being. He would say, come and finish me off as well. He goes and he finishes Ibn Shazah as well. Interesting lines come from the opposition, telling him, identify yourself. He replies, he says, Ana qamaru Bani Hashim. He says, I'm the moon of Bani Hashim. Voices come telling him, Bani Hashim, I already have 2 moons. Hassan and Hussein. Bani Hashim already has 2 moons. He would reply, they are the moons of Muhammad, and I am the moon of Ali. And it's the duty of the moons of Ali to protect the moons of Muhammad. They are the eyes, I am the hands. And it's the duty of the hands to protect the eyes. Allahu Akbar. In other words, this was what? It was a known fact that Imam Hassan Hussein, you'll notice much of the Islamic literature narrations which speak about the sons of Ali ibn Abi Talib, they were all placed in one basket always. Hassan and Hussein are two Imams, Hassan and Hussein Sayyid Shabab, Hassan and Hussein Rayhanat Rasulullah, the flower of Rasulullah. Always they were placed in one basket. Therefore, for the likes of Taha Hussein to come and say that Imam al-Hussein was infuriated with Imam al-Hassan once he did the sulh with Muawiyah is something that goes against the very literature and the core of our understanding of the relationship between these two, and the relationship in which Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen and Rasulullah would project of these two human beings, Hassan and Hussein. In other words, Taha Hussein, the words that he comes are completely unproportional to the words of Rasulullah and Amir al-Mu'mineen. Yet some come and they ask an interesting question. They say, fine, his army was sick. Muawiyah's army was stronger in the sense that they had obedience and they were ignorant, and this ignorance served them well towards their loyalty towards Muawiyah. Therefore, why is it that Imam al-Hassan didn't attain Shahada like Imam al-Hussein? It's an interesting point. Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, fine, we agree, his army was sick, and indeed he had no other choice except to do the treaty. Yet wasn't Imam al-Hussein in the same position? Imam al-Hussein was asked to be given bay'ah to Yazid, to which he would reply, no, I won't. Question, why is it that Imam al-Hassan didn't go against him in the sense of attaining martyrdom? And why is it that Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam did? Ulama come and they mention very interesting replies in regards to this. What do they say? You have Sayyid Shamsuddin, or in other words, Sayyid Shamsuddin also has written books about the thought of Imam al-Hussein. Sayyid Sharafuddin, rahmatullahi alayhi, has a book in which he calls it Karbala, the echo of the treaty that Imam al-Hussein made. There is this ideology that exists, that what Karbala and how it happened and why it happened was but a reflection of what Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam did. Because keep in mind, if Imam al-Hassan did go ahead and fight Muawiyah, firstly it's a guaranteed loss. He lost Ubaydullah ibn Abbas, he lost thousands of companions, it's a guaranteed loss. This one we can confirm. Therefore, were he to be one who goes against Muawiyah, the religion would have been destroyed. And indeed, the religion that we have today would be a shell with no substance. This is a reality. Yet then, question, why didn't he attain Shahada? Yes, he lose, just as many can come and argue. Imam al-Hussein lost physically, his companions were killed, his families were beheaded, one by one, 18 before the eyes of Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam beheaded. Therefore, it would have been what? It would have been beautiful. 2 martyrs, not just one. Imagine how beautiful that would have been. If Karbala made us strong, imagine 2 sacrifices would have made us even stronger. But no. Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, number 1, there needs to be a realization of what Shahada is. Shahada has a materialistic aspect, as Sayyid Sharafuddin mentioned. He says the revolution of Hussein, Sada Sulh al-Hassan, it's an echo of the bay'ah of Imam al-Hassan, or in other words, the sulh, the treaty. There is a materialistic aspect to Shahada, and indeed there is what? There is a spiritual. As for the spiritual, Shahada is always looked on in a highlight. If you are one who attains Shahada for the sake of Allah, spiritually this is beloved, and that's why one thing that people say, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, how could he go to Karbala? This was suicidal, this was against the teachings of Islam. Islam says, وَلَا تَرْمُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ, don't throw yourselves to destruction. Imam Hussein knew he was going to die. Did Imam Hussein know he was going to die? 100%. How many times? He would tell, for goodness sake, Ju'fi, he would tell him, Imam, you might die. He told him, no, I will die. It's something guaranteed. Or for example, when Farazdaq would come to him, and he would ask him, what is the situation of the people of Kufa? To which the Imam alayhi salam would reply, or the Farazdaq would reply to him, قُلُوبُهُمْ مَعَكَ وَسُيُوفُهُمْ عَلَيْكَ, their heart is with you, yet their swords are against you. People, as everyone knew, were ready to what? Were ready to kill the Imam. And the Imam alayhi salam knew very well that it was time, it was a time of death. Karbala was equivalent to death. Yet, he what? He still went. Why? He mentions, here's the punchline. One man would come to him, he would tell him, why do you go? You're going to be killed. He tells him, لَقَدْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَرَانِ قَتِيلًا. He says, Allah wills to see me a martyr. وَلَقَدْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَرَاهُنَّ سَبَايًا. And Allah wishes that my family is taken as prisoners of war. Allah wanted to see Zainab go through that pain. Why? Because when Allah loves you, He makes life difficult for you. And this is a key point. Many people, they come and they ask themselves, my life is good. I have the best of cars. I'm in the best of positions. My life is going well. Allah must be happy with me. Please keep in mind that this is not Islamic ideology. Islam comes and says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَلَمَّا نَسُوا مَا ذُكِرُوا بِهِ فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ أَبْوَابَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Allahu Akbar, this verse. The verse comes and says, once they forgot what we came to remind them of, once they forget Quran, once they forget Hadith, once they forget Allah, what do we do to them? We give them everything. When Allah notices you forget Him, He doesn't take from you. He gives you more. Wouldn't Zainab alayhi salam turn to Yazid and say, don't think that when you gain more in power and authority that Allah loves you. Indeed, Allah gives them more لِيَزْدَادُوا إِثْمًا. Allah gives them more so they increase in sin, so that their adab will increase. You see, one of the biggest trials that insan increases in money. I remember there was one day he would come to Rasulullah, a man, he would tell me, Ya Rasulullah, could you please pray that I receive money? He would say, please keep me away from that. His name was Tha'labi. He would tell me, Ya Rasulullah, please, I need money. It said Tha'labi. Fajr, you know how you see some brothers, may Allah bless them. When it comes time for Fajr, they're there. Dhuhr, they're there. Maghrib, they're there. He has so much stuff going on. He stops and he comes to the masjid. Or you see beautiful faces today in this majlis. They might have work, they might have things, they might have school, weekday. Yeah, he comes and he attends the majlis of Sayyid al-Shuhada. There are people like that. Tha'labi was one of them. He would come to Rasulullah. He would say, Ya Rasulullah, please, do dua that I receive money. He would say, no. Yes. Until he said, fine, no worries. Let me do it and you'll see the repercussions. Rasulullah raises his hand. Oh Allah, give Tha'labi money. Fajr, he's not there. Alhamdulillah, Dhuhr, he came. Next day, Dhuhr, he's not there as well. Next day, Maghrib. Before you know it, Tha'labi is what? He's a floating memory. Where is Tha'labi? What happened to Tha'labi? No one knows. They come to him, they tell him, Tha'labi, it's time that you pay jizya, that you pay the tax. He would say, what jizya? I don't need to pay any more jizya. They would say, Subhanallah, just a few days ago you were poor, yes, and you would attend masjid. Now that you've become rich, you forget Allah and you forget the masjid. Inshallah, we're not one of these individuals, brothers and sisters, that when Allah blesses us, we forget Him. Sulaiman would turn to Allah. He would say, Ya Rabbi, awzi'ni an ashkura ni'mataka allati an'amta alayhi wa ala waliday wa na'amala salihan tallah wa adkhilni bi rahmatika fi ibadika as-salihin. Isn't that what Sulaiman would say? He would say, my Lord, arouse me. Yes, you've given me kingdom. Yeah, allow me to be one who thanks you when you give me such. Yes, that you'll notice there are some people, when wealth comes to him, he tends to what? He tends to forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why I remember that the verse that I mentioned a few moments ago when Allah says, فَلَمَّا نَسُوا مَا ذُكِّرُوا بِهِ. Once they forget what we came to them with, we give them everything. فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ أَبْوَابَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. That when Allah sees that you're far away from religion, He gives you more. He gives you more. That many people tend to say, my life is going good, Allah must be happy with me. No. It's a sign that Allah loves you, that your life is difficult. Yes. You know, there was once a man, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam was in his house, and he would see that the egg would fall. And the egg wouldn't break. You know what Imam did? Imam stood up and left. They come to him, they tell me, Ibn Rasulullah, why did you stand up and leave when the egg broke? when the egg fell and it didn't break. He said that egg was supposed to break. It didn't break. Therefore, I realized how far these people are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Could you imagine? To that extent. When life is good, that's the problem. You can take this quote from me. The biggest problem is that there are no problems. Yes. The biggest problem is when there are no problems in the human being's life. When life is difficult, Allah loves you. Allah loved Hussein, therefore He gave him shahada. Allah saw that Hussein is the highest. Therefore, the most painful, as one could argue, is shahada. That when some come and say Hussein went to Karbala, he was suicidal. No! Allah loved Aba Abdullah, and for that reason He gave him shahada. لَقَدْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ أَن يَرَانِي قَتِيلًا. Imam Hussain says, Allah wishes to see me a martyr. Allah wanted to see Zaynab alayhi salam go through that pain that I mentioned. Not because out of hatred wal hayat. No, Allah, when He loves you, look at the hadith. إِنَّ اللَّهَ إِذَا أَحَبَّ عَبْدًا ابْتَلَاهُ. Clear hadith from the Prophet of Islam. When Allah loves an individual, He tests him. For this reason, He will give him shahada. Therefore, on the spiritual aspect, as Sharafuddin comes and says, there is what? There is the spiritual aspect of shahada, which is always in highlight. Yes, yet. There is a materialistic aspect to shahada. Shahada isn't always needed. If Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam was to go and become a martyr, would this decrease from the authority of Muawiyah? Nothing whatsoever. If Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam was to leave this, on the contrary, this would increase the position of Muawiyah, because now Hassan is gone. Imam al-Hasan's death would not have created a revolution like Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam's martyrdom did. Hence, on the materialistic level, as Sayyid Sharafuddin comes and argues, if Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam was to become a shaheed, then what? Then this would do nothing. It wouldn't cause a backlash. Imam al-Hussain became shaheed because the time needed shahada. Only a death of a human being would have sended awakening to the minds of the people. Only the blood of Aba Abdullah would have made this religion upright. And that's why one of the greatest examples I can give of how we know Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam was not displeased with Imam al-Hussain upon shahada is the following example. The will of Imam al-Hasan. Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, upon his death, he would give a will to Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. What did he say in this will? He said, oh, my brother Hassan, it is through Allah, oh my brother Hussein, it is through Allah that you will become the Imam after me. He would say, there is no brother as loyal and as truthful as you. Question, if Imam al-Hasan was mad with Imam al-Hussain, would he have told him the following? Never. Yeah, go and read the will today when you go back home. Go and read the will of Imam al-Hasan to Imam al-Hussain in his last moments. He would say, there is no brother as loyal and as truthful as you. That's the first thing he would mention. Secondly, he would mention, and it's a powerful line, which comes and shows the wasiyah, or indeed the truce that he made with Muawiyah was one that he was pleased with, Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam, and it was the correct thing. How do we know this? You'll notice in the wasiyah, Imam al-Hasan would tell him, let me be buried next to Rasulullah. One of the problems that Imam al-Hussain had with who? With the wife of Rasulullah, was that she denied Imam al-Hasan to be buried next to Rasulullah. That's why today you go to Medina, you see there's Jannat al-Baqi' and you have the shrine of Rasulullah. Imam al-Hasan was meant to be buried next to the shrine of Rasulullah. al-Mu'mineen, as she's referred to, the wife of Rasulullah, she denied this, hence Imam al-Hussain had beef with her. Imam al-Hussain had issues with her for this reason. Otherwise, you go and you read the wasiyah that Imam al-Hasan left to Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam, which comes and shows to us that every individual of al-Muhammad was okay with the truce that took place, is the following. Imam al-Hasan would tell him, don't allow me to be buried next to Rasulullah. If they don't let me to be buried, look at the words. He would say, don't shed any blood so that you can get what you want. Are you with me or no? If they deny you from being buried, and deny me from being buried next to Rasulullah, don't shed any blood. What is he saying? He's saying there is all a plan in this. Everything that's happening is for a reason. In other words, if the truce is what? Is kept, don't go against the truce. If hatred is shown, even if they go against the truce, don't shed blood, ya Imam Hussain. If they don't let me be buried next to you, next to Rasulullah, don't shed blood. If they go against the truce, don't shed blood. In other words, what the Imam ﷺ is telling him, that's why Imam al-Hussain, they would come to him, you know. They would come to him and they would tell him, oh Imam, why don't you rise against Muawiyah? He would say, out of respect for the truce that Hassan made with Muawiyah. Allahu Akbar. Go and read history. Imam al-Hussain would turn to them and he would say, I won't go against Muawiyah because of the sulh and respect for Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. Question, if Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam wal-'ayadu billah made the mistake, would have the Imam said, I'm not going to go against Muawiyah? Wallah, he would have went against him right after Imam al-Hasan died. Yet he said, out of respect for Imam al-Hasan and for the truce that he made, I will never go against Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. In other words, the relationship between Hussein the son, or another Hussein the brother. Yesterday was what? Hussein the son. We spoke about Hussein the youth. All different colors of the Imam. Today's what? Hussein the brother. This is a lesson for every brother that's out there. Wallah, I've seen brothers in America. There was a story. One brother took the shoes of his brother, he killed him. Alhamdulillah, we're in the UK. Hopefully things are better here. A man, he took the shoes of his brother and he killed him. He stabbed him. Why? You took my shoes. We were in the same room, we slept in the same crib, same mother. No, my shoes are important to me. And to some, wallah, they spend more money on their shoes than they do on their houses and on their cars. You'll see his house, it's similar to a shack. You see his shoes, it looks as if Obama is walking. Yani, in other words, you'll notice what? You'll notice that there are some brothers, they don't take Hassan and Hussein as an example. If there's any lesson that we need to take from tonight, it's that Hassan and Hussein were what? Were exemplary brothers. Quran comes and gives us Habil and Qabil. Quran comes and gives us the brothers of Yusuf and Yusuf. Jealousy. If there's any better example than the ideal brother, Quran first tells you what not to be like. Don't be like Habil Qabil. Because jealousy can create problems between siblings. Sibling rivalry is psychologists come and study it. You come and look furthermore, jealousy is an issue. He told him, if you strike me, I won't kill you. Habil replies to him, Habil was closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. Of course, he received Khilafah after Adam. Habil was older, he didn't like it, therefore he killed his brother, Shaitan. Waswasa lahu shaitan. Shaitan would whisper to him. The example we need to take is not Habil Qabil between brother and brother. Wallah, it's sad. If you want to do simply in the time that we have a comparison between how Abbas treated Hussein and how we treat our brothers, wallah, it's the difference between the sky and the earth. And let me tell you first. You look at the relationship between Abbas and Hussein, Allahu Akbar, the respect. Firstly, the loyalty. Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, when you come and look at Haqqul Akh. Yes or no? Haqqul Akh, according to Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, he would say, so Allah, listen to these lines, please. He would say, support your brother even if you have a better opportunity elsewhere. How many times your brother needs your help? Yeah, you want to go out with the friends, you have, for example, some place to be. Sajjad, salamullahi alayhi, Imam comes and says, if you have a better opportunity, what we can take from the ideal brother is that he does what? He goes, he stays with his brother even if he's what? He has a better opportunity elsewhere. Number one, loyalty. فَنِعْمَ الْأَخَ الْمُوَاسِي لِأَخِيهِ. Have we read the ziyarah when we come to Abbas alayhi salam? فَنِعْمَ الْأَخَ الْمُوَاسِي لِأَخِيهِ. Al-Muṭi', the loyal, the sympathizer. Not only that, loyalty. Number two, you keep him in mind when you're in ease. When you have a chance of doing something, you think of your brother. My brother isn't doing it. Will I do it? Huh? We haven't come to the night of Abu Fadl. But don't we remember when Abu Fadl had the opportunity to drink? Yes or no? And Abbas alayhi salam had the opportunity to drink. What did he say? I'm going to drink 100%. Wallah, he could have justified it. If you think about it logically, he could have justified it. He could have told himself that if I drink this water, then I can be stronger and I come back to Imam Hussain in a stronger position. What did he say? Ya nafsu min ba'd al-Hussain. هوني وبعده لا كنت أو تكوني. Look at the support. هذا الحسين وارد المنون وتشربين بارد المعين. I drink water while Hussein is thirsty. Tallah. ما هذا فعال ديني. Never will I do such a thing. My religion tells me to do the opposite. Number three, and lastly, before we continue to the musibah, is who? Is the respect. How long was Abbas alayhi salam's life? About 34, 35 years. Historians tell us 34, 35 years. You know, never he told him, Hussein. You want to talk about respect between a brother and a brother, which today is Hussein, the brother? Never would he say Hussein. Only once he would tell him, Mawlai, my master. How many brothers today? Go to your brother, tell him my master. I promise you, I don't remember the letter. Myself, I don't tell that to my brother. My master, how are you doing? Especially if he's older than you. Mawlai, Sayyidi. He was called by his kunya, Aba Abdullah. Never would he say Hussein. You want to speak about respect? Forget how he treated him. He would never say Hussein. Such an elite level of respect. Until he fell from the horse. That was the only moment historians say he said, Hussein, idrak akhaka al-Abbas. Allahu Akbar. He said, Hussein, come and help your brother Abbas. That these are lessons which we take from who? From the relationship between Hassan and Hussein on a night like this, in which we see what Hassan went through. And always Hussein was there standing next to him. Whenever we disrespect our brother, let us ask ourselves, who are we looking at? Habil, Qabil, Yusuf and his brothers? Or Abbas and Hussein and Hassan and Hussein? Allahu Akbar. Yet there is no better example to look at today. Two brothers who stayed together until their last moments than the sons of Zaynab al-Kubra. Yes? The sons of Zaynab al-Hawra, Aoun and Muhammad. Two brothers, yes or no? Two brothers who stayed together until their last moments. Hassan and Aoun and Muhammad were the sons of Zaynab. You come to Karbala, today is a night of the mothers, yes? Today is the night of the mothers, and the mothers who have put so much for their children. Mothers in this hall, mothers listening, you are honorable, you are sacred, and sons and daughters, let us value our mothers from a night like this. Today is not the night of the son, today is the night of the mother. You know why? Because they would see Layla next to Ali al-Akbar. They would see Farwa next to Qasim alayhi salam. They would see Rabab next to Ali al-Asghar. They would see every mother, in other words, next to her daughter, next to her son. Yet then they would see Kulthum crying. They would tell Kulthum, why do you cry? Look at the lines. She would say, I don't cry out of fear, out of anything. I cry because I don't have a son to give like all of these mothers have to give. Yes? It is said that Zaynab alayhi salam would come to Aoun and Muhammad, telling them, oh Aoun and Muhammad, this is the day that I want you to go and protect Aba Abdullah. This is the day that I want you to give your life for the grandson of Rasulullah. Aoun and Muhammad receive the news, they embrace it welcomingly. Zaynab alayhi salam, take your mind to Karbala on this day. Two young sons ready to give their life for Aba Abdullah. Where are we from the youth such as Aoun and Muhammad? She would go to the Imam alayhi salam, telling him, Ya Aba Abdullah, do you give me the permission to allow Aoun and Muhammad to go and fight? Imam would give her a categorical no. He would say, never, Ya Zaynab. They are young, they are still young in their age. Let them grow, let them get married, let them go and become successful. Zaynab would insist. He would say, oh Zaynab, it's as if I felt Imam Hussain saying, how could I deny a voice which sounds similar to the voice of my mother Fatima? Yes, until Imam al-Hussein gives her the permission for them to Aoun and Muhammad would go together, they would fight together, they wouldn't leave one another. Yes, Aoun and Muhammad would go to the fields, yet the enemies would come between them, separating Aoun from Muhammad. Aoun is attacked, ya Muslimin. Aoun falls onto the ground. Muhammad is struck as well, he falls onto the ground, until they shouted, Ya Hussein, come on, aid us. Imam al-Hussein hears the voices, he goes back, he picks them up, he's embarrassed to take them back. she would go back to Medina. Allahu Akbar, how much these lines hurt. She would open up the door of the rooms. She would see 2 empty beds. She looks at the bed of Aun, no one is laying in it. She looks at the bed of Muhammad, no one is laying in it. Assalamu alayki ya Zainab. Assalamu alayki ya المصائب. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. Oh Allah, we ask you, by the heart of Zainab, oh Allah, we ask you, by the musibah of Zainab al-Kubra, that you answer our du'as and accept our prayers, and to accept the tears of the mu'mineen and mu'minat in this blessed majlis. Oh Allah, we ask you, بفاطمة وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها. There is one alim who says, always in your du'as, he writes in a wasiyah to his son, the importance of tasbihat al-Zahra, until he tells him, always in your qunut, do this du'a. Allahumma بفاطمة وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها بعدد ما أحاط به علمك. Oh Allah, by Fatima and her father, her children and her husband, answer our du'as. Yes? Until he says, don't forget Fatima in your du'as. That's why on a night like this we ask Allah, by the musibah of Zainab and by the pain that struck the heart of Zainab, Amma yujib, 5 times with the loudest of our voices. In this majlis you might have sick ones. In this majlis you might have people who have hajat. We ask him, Ya Allah, by the thirst of Aba Abdullah. Oh Allah, by the ghurba of Aba Abdullah, answer our du'as with the following ayat al-Mubarakah 5 times with the loudest of our voices. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibu al-mudtarra idha da'a wa yakshifu as-su'. Amma yujibu أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. One more time. أما, loudest of voices. Hands up to the skies, brothers and sisters. There's an effect to it when you raise your hands. One more. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. اللهم شافي كل مريض بحق مريض كربلاء زين العابدين. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين واخذل الكفر والمنافقين. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج واجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه والمستشهدين بين يديه. And to answer our prayers and to accept our hajat, we recite Surah Al-Fatiha with a salawat upon Muhammadin wa Ali Muhammad.